This is Dr. Barnes. So let's take a look at this question. Here, we're supposed to find the exponential Fourier series and then draw the frequency spectrum for this waveform. So here, we can pick anywhere as our period, and I prefer to pick here. So t is equals to pi. Alright? T is equals to what? Pi for anywhere you pick. And period is always the same for anywhere you pick. So t is equals to pi. So omega naught is equals to 2 pi on t. So 2 pi on pi is equals to 2. So with exponential Fourier series, x of t is equals to summation up to infinity. Okay, n is equals to minus infinity. Okay, cm into e j n omega naught t. Okay, for the period, which is what? T naught less than t naught plus t. But instead of writing this t, I can also say that t naught less than t naught plus 2 pi on omega naught is the same. Okay, so if I want to add my x0 or x naught, I can say that c0 plus summation up to infinity n equals to minus infinity cm into e j n omega naught t. Okay, for the same interval. So let's say t naught less than t naught plus 2 pi on omega naught. Okay, so we can say this. All right, we can say this. All right, so now from here we can just determine our cm and then move on. Okay, and then move on. One thing we have to note is that, please, here is a, that's the amplitude. Okay, so cm is equals to summation here t naught. Okay, here t naught plus t. Okay, 1 over t. Okay, x of t into e minus j n omega naught t dt. Okay, so this is equals to what? Here we can say that 1 over pi into 0 to what? Pi into x of t. X of t is what? A sine t into what? E minus j n omega naught what? T. Okay, for the period. Okay, so here we are saying that is what? Between 0 and then what? Pi. Okay, so that is our period in this case. Okay, between 0 and pi. Okay, so we can just move on from here and then say that cm is equals to a on pi, okay, into 0 to what? Pi, into sine t, okay, into e minus j n. Okay, omega naught is what? 2. So I can say that 2 what? T. Okay, dt. Let me bring here what? Dt. Okay, the what? Dt. Okay, so we know that sine t into what? E minus j 2nt. Okay, is equals to this particular trigonometric expansion. Okay, this one, what we can do is that we can expand it using trigonometry. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. We know that that the integration, okay, the integration of EAX into sine BX, okay, is equals to EAX over A squared plus B squared, okay, into A sine BX minus B cos BX, all right. So here we know that A is equals to minus J2n, okay, and then B is equals to 1, all right. So we know this, okay. So we know this. So now from here, what we can do is okay. So from here, what we can get is we can have Cm is equals to, okay, Cm is equals to A on pi, okay, A on pi into E minus J2, okay, nt over 1 minus 4, okay, over 1 minus 4n squared, okay, over 1 minus 4n squared, okay. So that is putting it inside the equation, because we know that, like what we had, we had EAX into A squared plus B squared, and we do that A is what, minus J2n, okay, so minus J2n, and the X is what, T, this X is T, and then A squared plus B squared. So what is A squared? So A squared is what? A squared is minus J2n, okay, so, and then B squared is what, 1. So what is minus J2n squared? That will give you J squared is what, minus 1, and then 2 squared is what, 4, and then n squared will be what, n. So if you put it into this equation, this is what you're going to get, okay. So then from there, what you can get again is that you can have we're going to supposed to have A sine bx, and what is A? A is what, minus J2n, okay. So here I'll have minus J2n sine what, sine bx. So what is B? B is 1, and what is x? X is t, okay. So sine t, okay, minus cos, okay, minus B cos bx, okay. And what is B? B is 1, so cos. And what is bx? B is also 1 again, and x is t, so cos t, okay. So this is what you're going to have, and then you have our limit 0 to what, pi. All right. So now when we have this one, what we can just do straight away again is we can just introduce our limits into our equation, okay, into our equation. So here Cm is equals to A on pi, okay, A on pi into E exponent minus J. So here it will be what, E minus what, J 2 pi n, okay, E minus J 2 pi n over what, over 1 minus 4n squared, 1 minus 4n squared, okay, into minus J2n, okay, minus J2n sine what, sine pi, okay, sine pi minus cos what, minus cos pi, okay, minus cos pi, okay. So now this is what we have here. So all this minus, okay, all this minus, when we put in 0, okay, if we put in 0, e exponent what? We're going to have e exponent. Okay, we're going to have e exponent what? 0. Okay, e exponent 0 over 1 minus 4n what? Squared. Alright, into what? Into minus j 2n sine what? Sine 0 minus what? Minus cos what? 0. Minus cos what? 0. Okay, all this. Okay, alright. So what are we going to get from here? So we're going to get what? Cm is equals to a on what? Pi into what are we going to have from here? Here we're going to have e exponent minus j2n pi. That one, if we have that one, what we're going to get is that we're going to get 1. Okay, we're going to get 1. Why are we saying we're going to get 1? Okay, we have seen it in the previous examples that we had. Whenever we have e exponent minus j2n, okay, pi, okay, it's equals to what? It's equals to cos what? 2. It's equals to cos 2 pi n minus j sine 2 pi what n. And we know that what is 2 pi? Sine 2 pi is always 0. If n is 1, sine 2 pi is 0. If n is 2, sine 4 pi is 0. If n is 3, sine 6 pi is also what? 0. So this is 0. And what is cos 2 pi n? Cos 2 pi n is always 1, because if n is 1, cos 2 pi is what? 1. If n is 2, cos 4 pi is what? 1. If n is 3, cos 6 pi is what? 1. So this one always gives us what? 1. It always gives us 1. Okay, like I showed you in the previous example. So that means that I'm going to get 1 over 1 minus what? 4n squared. Okay, into what? Into minus j sine pi. What is sine pi? Sine pi will always be what? 0. Okay, sine pi will always be 0. And then what is cos pi? Cos pi will always be what? Minus 1. So minus minus, it will become positive. Okay, so that is what I get here. Then minus this place. Okay, so here e exponent 0 is what? 1. Okay, minus what? 1 minus 4n squared. Okay, and then minus j sine 0. Sine 0 is always 0. Okay, and then sine 0 is always 0. And then what is cos 0? Cos 0 is always 1. So minus, because of this minus, it become what? Minus 1. Okay, it will become minus 1. Okay, so this is what I get. So that means that Cm is equals to A on pi. Okay, it's equals to A on pi. Okay, so here 1 over 1 minus 4n what? Squared. Okay, plus. Okay, plus 1 over what? Because of the minus, it will become plus 1 minus 4n what? Squared. Okay, so now here you're going to have Cm is equals to 2a over what? Over pi. Okay, into what? Into 1 minus 4n what? Squared. Okay, so this is what you're going to get for what? For your Cm. Okay, now you can go on and then find your C naught also. So C naught is what? 1 over what? T into what? T naught into what? T naught plus what? T into what? Into x, okay, into x of what? T, which is equals to 1 over what? Pi into what? 0 to what? Pi into x of t. What is x of t? X of t is what? A sine what? T dt. Okay, so this is equals to 1 over what? Pi into what? 0 to what? Pi into, so here we come what? A into what? Sine what? T dt. So now C naught is going to be A over what? Pi into what? Minus cos what? T. Okay, minus cos T, 0 to what? Pi. So now you have minus what? A over what? Pi into what? Into what is cos pi? Cos pi is actually equals to Cos pi is minus 1, okay? Cos pi will be minus 1, okay? So cos pi is minus 1. And then what is cos 0? Cos 0 is also 1. So, but because the lower limit, it will subtract, okay? So that I will have what? A over what? Pi. So that C naught is equals to what? A on what? Pi, alright? Okay, so now you put it in the general equation. You're going to have what? X of what? T is equals to what? C naught plus what? Summation up to infinity. N is equals to what? Minus infinity. Okay, you have what? Cm into what? E into j n omega naught what? T. Okay, okay. So now here x of what? T is equals to what? A on what? A on pi. Okay, plus what? Plus summation up to infinity. N is equals to minus what? Infinity. Okay, so you are going to have what? 2a over what? Pi into what? 1 minus 4n squared. Okay, 4n squared. Alright, into what? Into e exponent j n omega naught. What is omega naught? Omega naught is 2. Okay, 2 what? T. Okay, so basically this is going to be your Fourier series for the interval 0 to what? For the interval that we're going to get, so for the interval 0 to what? T, and then what? Here is what? Pi. Okay, so basically that's what you're going to get. Okay, so now let me just repeat the final equation here again. Okay, so the final equation was such that x of what? T is equals to what? A on what? Pi plus what? Plus summation, here is infinity, n is equals to minus infinity. Okay, we have 2a on what? On pi. Okay, 1 minus 4n squared. Okay, 1 minus 4n squared into what? E into j, j2n what? Nt. Okay, okay. So for what? For the period, okay, which is 0 to what? T to what? To pi. Alright. So basically that is what we get for this particular question. So now from here, the next thing to do is to realize your frequency spectrum. Okay. So here, from here, we go for our frequency spectrum. Okay. And how do we do this frequency spectrum? It's what? Cm, okay, versus, it's a graph of Cm versus what? Versus your amplitude, okay? So your Cm is your amplitude. So Cm versus what? Your frequency, which is n omega what? Naught, okay? So what is your Cm? So your Cm is actually 2a over what? Pi into 1 minus 4n squared. Okay, so if C1, then I'm going to get what? 2a over what? Over pi into here. If no, first let me start from C0. Okay, let me start from C0. If C0, then I'm going to get what? If here is 0, then here will become 1. So I'll get what? 2a over pi, which is basically the same thing which I got for what? Which I got for C naught. Okay, remember that C naught, what value did I get for C naught? You see, C naught, the value I got for C naught was what? A on pi. Is the same thing I am getting here. Okay, basically, sorry. You see that it's supposed to be 2a on pi, because here is minus 1 minus 1, that's what? Minus 2. So minus times minus become a positive. So here is what? 2. Sorry. So here is what? 2. So I'll get what? 2a on pi. Okay. So here also see that I'm getting C naught to what? 2a on pi. Then I will look for what? C1. So let's see for what? C1. So if we have C1, then what we're going to get is that for C1, I will get what? 2a over what? 2a over what? Pi. But what will be this pi? This pi will be what? 1 minus 4n squared, and n is 1. So 1 minus what? 4. So I'll get what? Minus 3. So I'll get minus 3 what? Pi. Okay, so in that case, let me find what? C1 absolute. C1 absolute will be equals to what? 2a on what? 3 pi. Okay, then let me find C2. If I find C2, I'll get what? 2a over what? If here is 2, then it will become what? 4. 4 for what? 16. 16, 1 minus what? 15. So it will what? Minus what? 15 what? Pi. Then let me find C2 absolute. C2 absolute is going to be what? Or mod. Mod C2 is going to be what? 2a over what? 15 what? Pi. Then let me go to what? C3. C3 is going to give me what? If I put 3 here. If I put 3 here, I'm going to get 9 times what? 9 times 4. What is 4? 9 what? That is supposed to be 36. So 1 minus 36 is what? Minus 35. So 2a over what? Minus what? 35 what? Pi. Okay, so then let me find C3 mod or absolute. It's going to be what? 2a over what? 35 what? Pi. So that is what I get. So after that, let me draw my frequency spectrum. Okay, so my frequency spectrum is going to be, here is n what? Omega what? Naught. Okay, and then here is going to be what? It's going to be Cm. Okay, absolute. Okay, here the middle here is what? 0. But you see that when it was what? 0, I got 2a on pi. So that means that the longest one here is what? 2a on pi. But you can ignore the a because you see that it's appearing in all of them. So that is a constant that we can ignore. But you can also bring it, no problem. Okay, so here I have what? I found C1, so I have 1 here. I found C2, so I have 2 here. I found C3, so I have 3 here. So the opposite will be in the other side. Minus 1, okay, minus 2, and minus what? 3. Okay, so here, what was my value here? Okay, so here, my value was what? 2a on what? 2a on 3 pi. Okay, and here, my value was what? 2a on what? 15 pi. And here, my value was what? 2a on what? 35 pi. Okay, and here, my value was what? My value here was what? 2a on what? On 2a on 3 pi. Okay, and here it was what? It was 2a on what? On 15 pi. Okay, on 15 pi. And here it was what? 2a on what? 35 what? Pi. So this will be the solution to this question. Thank you so much.